Hey everybody, this is Perky from For Us Nation, and I am with my co-host of the On the Ground Level podcast. Which way are you? Tara.
Hey, I can't.
And we have our special guest, Micah McFarlane. I'm saying that right, correct?
Said it absolutely perfectly.
Okay. Before we get into who he is, let's introduce our podcast. Again, this is under our nonprofit, For Us Nation. Please ignore my cat in the background. And this podcast because we wanted to make sure that millennials and other marginalized people had a voice to express themselves, and also so that we could be on the ground with what is really happening in the community and give voice to those people. You can listen to this podcast on all streaming platforms. We also put the link on our website at forusnation.com. You can follow me at Perky Sexy Cool or Perky Perspectives, and you can follow Tahira at I Let the Good Times Roll. So today our guest, Micah McFarlane, is founder and CEO of Revel Spirits, an innovative agave spirit made naturally in Morales, Mexico.
Exactly.
Mexico.
Mexico. Micah has, actually is this right? Micah has over 20 years as an executive in the entertainment industry, managing all aspects of multi-million-dollar tours for artists such as Cyndi Lauper, Dwight Yoakam, Bob Newhart, Yoakum.
Sorry, Bob.
Bob Newhart. I know I was gonna get somebody. Bob Newhart, and Blondie. His experience spans logistics, planning, contract negotiations, sales and marketing, extensive festival production, sponsorship sales, and talent buying. He is an entrepreneur, co-founding and operating a successful management company, which engaged in active and aggressive promotions, tour coordination, booking, career planning, and scheduling. When launching Revel, Micah wanted to do something incredibly bold and different, so he created a new category under the agave umbrella called Avila, which is a handcrafted agave-based spirit, often thought of as the love child of tequila and mezcal. He is now joined by part owner and celebrity Justin Hartley and has launched 4 Avila products: Revel Avila Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo, and canned cocktail the Revel Avila Spritz. Micah has created a world of success and actively influences people in the Black and Brown community to pursue their dreams of reaching business highs like him. You can follow this brand at Revel Spirits on social media. So hi.
Welcome.
Wow.
I really like how you said Blanco.
Blanco.
I want to drink it now.
Let me get rid of my cat. I'll be right back.
Don't worry, girl. Well, welcome to On the Ground Level, Micah. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to your PR's company if you want to shout her out too. That was dope that you sent me that press release. Is like we have to connect each other to each other. So Black-owned brands, y'all know that hits our target market. So welcome to On the Ground Level.
Jay Conley, they're
Yeah.
all right.
So first question we have for you. How important is it for Black men like yourself to take up space in spirits? Do you welcome competitors?
Okay. You always welcome competition, no matter what, because that's just whether you're in sports, business, being doctors or lawyers or whatever, competition breeds excellence because you got to fight to be to the top. So yes, I all about competitors and everything. I think all, that old saying, all boats rise, float, something like that, whatever, and the thing is that what I'm trying to say is that, yes.
That's dope.
Yeah. I, all about competition, and really being able to be in the spirits business. And it's a challenge because there's not many African Americans in spirits business. And what I found out over the last couple months, is that I think there's only 227 Black-owned spirits brands in the United States. Yeah.
That sounds like a very low number.
We
Yeah, I was saying out of what?
I think it's a couple thousand. and the percentage is really low.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. That's surprising.
I mean, it's surprising, but not really, because when you hear the story of like Jack Daniels, you know, it's like, okay, we in it, but we not in it. Like we don't have the ownership. Like most in industries, we haven't either been able to protect our intellectual property or we didn't protect our intellectual property. So it's like we there.
Yeah, Uncle Nearest is a great story. I mean, Fawn Weaver and what she's doing with Uncle Nearest. I don't know if she sees this or whatever, but she is amazing in what she's doing. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for the whole Uncle Nearest movement and everything, because it just opens it up for other Black entrepreneurs like me.
Yeah, we actually did a story about him, and it's on our YouTube for anybody who wants to. And somebody actually commented and said I used the wrong photo, which I'm sure that happens because, you know, it's not a lot of photos of people from that time, you know, and stuff gets mislabeled. So I apologize. But...
tell them stop trolling. Tell them to stop trolling.
Speaking of a couple years ago, I did it was during Black History Month, and I did a thing on YouTube or wherever, I don't know where it posts, but on, Uncle Nearest. And then they hit me back and said, well, you kind of got the story a little bit off. I'm going, look, I'm telling the freaking story, It's like,
and I have the correct information, right? Because I'm trying. Like, I tried.
It was great, though, so at least that's when I knew that they were listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, though. You need those fact checkers.
No,
okay, so
next question. I think it's my question. Right?
Yeah, for you is how do you balance your life and your personal goals? Because like as we was reading your bio, you do, at least your background is in a lot. I don't know what you do like on a daily, but how do you balance your life and personal goals while assisting artists with creating their brand, as well as having your own spirit brand?
Riding my bicycle, that is it. Just, getting up at 5:30, 6 a.m. and, I live like 4 blocks from the ocean, and I get on my bicycle, and that's my meditation every morning. And I ride for, 15 to 20 miles and get back, take a shower, get ready, and I'm set. That's my meditation. That's my time. It's, it's quiet. It's peaceful. So I listen to the
I like that. Did you start the day off?
That's my point is that that's where you have to, as an entrepreneur, to be able to balance out your world. Because then the next thing you know, you get to work and you got to put on that suit of armor, and arrows are coming at you all day long. And even Superman has a bad day, but you've got to be all day long. So you take that moment, the moment of balance is those couple hours in the morning for me, and then then it's like rocking the rest of the day until I go to bed. I love working. I love what I do. I love what I created. I built a really good team around me, and they're very supportive. So I think that exercise and, watching how much you drink and hang out and all that stuff. And, because you're in the entertainment business. This is, you don't watch it. You have a license to like do whatever, and so you got to balance that. I'm at an age where I'm not clubbing anymore. I'm not, I've seen the road. I've traveled the world. I've been in every continent except for Antarctica. I've been to Africa. I've been to Russia. I've been to China. All through the United States and South America. And it's just all those experiences, and being able to balance as a manager. Getting the show up and getting the show down, the logistics, going through customs and this. Get everybody's passports, and you just, you're being able to, how am I trying to say that? It's just to be able to create your own chi where you're like, okay, I'm just this 2 hours of my time. And then, after that, you just start balancing, and you hope that preparation in all your balancing, this makes sense, that you get 95% of the things right ahead of time. So when you got that 5% that's going to go wrong, you are smart enough to pivot, and you can just balance yourself and stay calm and go, okay, I need to do this, and that problem will go here, talk to that person, and that problem will go away. And you just tackle them one at a time. So, and then there's a thing called just being methodical. Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, I'll just keep talking.
No, I got you. I was going to interject, but you kept going, and I was going to give you the word pivot, and then you figured it out. So I'm like, this guy needs his own show. It's like he doesn't need us. But I love that, because I am very much the same way. I'm running multiple brands, and I feel like maybe you can attest to this. The crazier my schedule is, the more important that morning bike ride is, right? Because I need something to be like, before I did anything, I would sit here on the floor doing whatever, and I have to go back to that moment when someone's like, oh my God, I need you to hear, and I'm being pulled in like 1,000 directions. It's like, even though I'm going in that direction, my mind is back on the floor in the bathroom. Right. Like, I need it. I can't do this without that. Like, legit. So I appreciate you saying that, because I thought it'd be crazy some days.
I think it's important, to try to stay healthy, as the best you can.
Right.
And mental is all important.
Brings us to our next question, right on time. Look how we did that. We've been discussing males and their access and relationship with mental health. Is there anything in the pandemic, because I know you come from the entertainment world, and that was a big thing for you people. Me too, us too. Anything that changed your soul?
In the pandemic, the thing that changed my soul, what hurt, was during the pandemic, I have a house in California and a house in Minneapolis. Okay. And during the pandemic, I got to get to Minneapolis. My wife is there and stuff. And something I thought I'd be back in California in 3 weeks. So March 17th, and get there, and then this thing is happening. But in May or June or whatever it was, 2.4 miles from where I live, there's a guy named George Floyd that got killed. And I watched my beautiful city of Minneapolis go to shreds. It was heartbreaking. It's, just to see it go, and it still hasn't came back yet. I mean, town is like horrible, and uptown is not what it used to be. It's not the way Prince described it, years ago, and his records, and yeah, and but that, more, I don't know, that was more changing than the pandemic was.
Absolutely.
And they just happen.
You're the first person we're talking to that experienced it that closely.
Yep.
At least for me.
No, so, yeah. And I didn't see that coming at all. Like, I heard the Minneapolis, and I didn't even put that,
I guess I don't even think I really reckon, like, it felt like it happened where you were. You know what I mean? So I never really thought to think about where is this happening?
Well, we all have that, right? Because I have Eric Gardner. So when people tell me Eric Gardner, that's when I was like, I can't go inside. I have to stay in the streets for as long as humanly possible. So that, even though I marched for George as well, we all did, right? But that's
Rodney King out here, even though that's older. Like our big one was Rodney King.
Rodney King.
Oh, here in LA. I didn't live in LA when that happened. So the time, that's when that Rodney King thing.
That's sad though. And so for you, that time period was more of a communal hit. I'm sure
it was just really, there was a lot of little different things that happened during that time, which I thought were really just interesting. You know, I mean, I grew up in a very, 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 very small town that I'm proud of where I grew up, and it's called Worthington, Minnesota. Okay, there's, you know, 10,000 white people and Mexicans and 50, nah, it's not even 50 Mexicans, 50 Mexicans and 50 black people and 58.
Not all the people of color related.
Right. They're all 50. And we were the first ones there in 1965. And then, you know, there became this, you know, really group, you know, but, you know, I was a kid, I was 6 years old, you know, and it was just like, it was the most awesome place to grow up. You know, I snowmobiles and ice hockey and, you know, all those things that, you know, later I learned that, you know, inner city Chicago or Kansas City or St. Louis, you aren't doing that. So I had those opportunities. I got everything. I got good schools, good books, all those things, you know.
Yeah, and it seems like it's helped you to have like more of a positive outlook on like how you move forward. So I guess for our next question, right, especially since you brought up George Floyd, right, and you know,
absolutely,
as a male, you know, as a Black male man, you know, I'm sure there's different experiences that you felt compared to us, right? And you know, there's that outside vulnerability, but then there also when things that deal with our mental, like some men, like we talked about this in our past episodes, are not able to or don't feel like they're able to be vulnerable. Right. So do you have any tips for men, just in general, but especially, you know, our men of color, on how to be vulnerable while also being protective of their life, like how to, I guess, balance that specific part of manhood?
Yes, and the answer is, for me, is first of all, women first, okay?
Let me make sure they heard my snaps in the audio.
No. Me as well, y'all hear me, right?
So worship the ground that they walk on, period. And that's, you know, my mother, Maxine McFarlane, she's 96, but with Alzheimer's now, but, you know, I worship the ground she walks on. And so that is one. And the other is to be able to listen, you know, and then once you can listen, also, you know, don't get out of yourself, me, my, whatever, just to listen and be able to be, you know, inside yourself and be able to hear. You don't have to always like chatter your mouth. You just have to listen and hear. And I think if more men do that and just have respect for women and, you know, Black men, it doesn't matter, all men, you know, and just, it makes a better world. That's just me. And that's how I have this great set of employees and, you know, just try to empower them and, you know, and let them have their voices and push forward, you know, so.
Yeah. I mean, another way I'm taking in what you're saying is also that, like, from both sides, right? So I'll speak for the women, unless Tahira has a differing opinion, that, you know, like, in order to be vulnerable while also have balance within yourself, which means you have to have balance within the other people, the opposite gender, you know, like if we're not in harmony, no matter what's going on, LGBT, whatever, like things, you know, gender fluidity, like whatever, however you identify, if there's no harmony between, you know, us, like there's no harmony in the world. And then how can you be vulnerable? You're not gonna trust anybody. So
I totally agree with you. I mean, but you also have to, you know, be strong and be thoughtful, be kind.
Very good.
My philosophy has always been, regardless if you're like a boy or girl, whatever, it's like you treat people the way you'd like to be treated. You know, Absolutely. It's like that's a very basic human existence, because as much as like I've seen people treat, like I say, I've been saying it more, like you treat animals kinder than humans. You're like, oh my God, this animal, you curse out a person. I'm like, you know, you're cut from that breed, right? Like we're the same beast, not that dog. Like, and I live in Brooklyn, so I'm always like, people talking to their dogs like you've lost your mind. Like, but that's because I understand humanity to that, you know, like we are the living space of this world. Like everything else is a construct. We feel it, race, gender, all that stuff. We said what it is. We change it tomorrow. It's like, that's why we're always arguing in the United States because there's so many different things, you know? But that's legit what you guys just said. I really like that question, by the way, too, P. I meant to say
Right,
that.
and I think that's where the listening part of what he said comes in. It's like, yeah, treat people the way you want to be treated, but also know some people need different things. So you got to hear them out too, you know? So yeah, that was a great response. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. I think it's on me now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I see you got a little bottle in front of you there. You mind holding it up? Now, if this was a virtual, like interactive, and you could pass me a shot, I'd take one because I'm that type of person.
Yeah, we're not there with the AI VR yet. So you have a bottle and you have a spritz, right? You have both of the.
So right here in front of me, I have, this is the Añejo, and it is, this bottle's almost gone. This is my house bottle, right? Because we're not at my, you know, yeah. So
no,
anyway,
you're all good. You made it. You can have it.
This is aged 24.
Oh, wow.
4 months in French oak barrel, are slightly charred, and they're brand new French oak barrels. And one of the things that's with Revel and the whole agave spirits world is that a lot of people don't understand, well, they're starting to get educated that there's agave spirits, meaning that tequila, mezcal, and then there's bacanora, which is from Sonora, Mexico. And then there's Sotol, which is from Chihuahua, Mexico, and Raicilla, which is also from Jalisco, where tequila comes from. These are all the categories. And then a new category of agave spirits called Avila, and it's named after my master distiller, Noe Avila. So Avilas come from, they can only come from Morelos, state of Mexico, which is 100 miles south of Mexico City, roughly about 2.8 million people in this whole state. And Cuernavaca is the capital city, the eternal weather. It's got the best weather in the world. You know, and this is where our farmers and distillers, you know, honestly, because of the soil, the climate, the temperature, and there's an active volcano called El Popo.
Not El Popo.
No, El Popo. There's a whole nother word to it. Let's see if I can see if I can pronounce it.
Like, we don't like the Popo over here.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah.
So this is
Ooh,
our.
That's a cute bottle.
It's beautiful. Everything we do is beautiful.
Yes.
You know,
That's nice.
you gotta remember, when you're black, you got to do things twice as hard, twice as better, and twice as all that stuff. So I don't know. So hopefully nobody got hurt when I just said that. But
they're okay.
Yeah, they're okay. They'll be all right, right? And so this is called El Popo, but the actual way to pronounce it is Popocatépetl volcano. The real, I don't know. See that word?
I can't see it. But we're gonna add. We're gonna link in all the product details into the bio anyway. But I'm gonna jump at the question I had. Like you went into a whole pitch, didn't even get my question. This is my business management question for you because I'm a business manager. When people see your product on the shelf, what's the reaction that you're hoping for? Who's your target market?
Okay, so our target market is for Revel Avila in ages 20, I would say 28 to 60, and it's more targeted towards higher income, you know, between 75,000 and up, people that make that kind of money, because that's their choices that they're going to make. What's that?
Like a luxury type.
Well, luxury, or, you know, there's a lot of people that are like, you know, into the handcrafted. They want to know the story behind it and all that. And so luxury, or I would say more handcrafted, you know, and but it fits into the luxury world too. I mean, we're we go up against Don Julio 1942. This goes up against that. Clase Azul, Michael Jordan's new stuff. We're, this is $180 a bottle, and so.
I can pitch it to my customers at Complex Con, for an example. That's your market? Complex Con? Sneakerheads and hype beasts and gotcha. I'm just joking, but yeah. Okay, cool. So that was one market that you said. So is there another for the bottles are like all set in different markets, the other bottles?
Yeah, so we have, the Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. They're all in the, luxury handcrafted area. And, the Blanco goes out at, $60 a bottle. The Reposado, which is aged 12 months in American white oak whiskey barrels, that goes out at, $70 to $80. And then the Añejo starts at 150 to 100. I've seen it at $200 at different places. And then we have the Revel Avila Spritz. We have 4 flavors, and they are this is the guava, coconut, and coffee or lime. And then we have a watermelon, cucumber, cilantro, and rosemary, grapefruit, and mango, Fresno chilies. And yeah,
interesting.
No, the flavors are insane. And my business partner, Justin Hartley, and my general manager, Rennie West, they spent extensive time, and doing focus groups and driving our flavor house crazy with all these different things until they took 80 flavors and brought it down to 4. And this took like almost a year. And then, we nailed it. And I can't tell you which company it is out there in the world, but they're called the 4th largest brewer in the United States. And I talked to them and they said, our RTDs, these right here, are the best spirits-based RTDs that they have ever tasted. And they've tasted everybody else's in the world. And so I can't say the name of the company because just, just tell
don't
them.
Get in trouble.
I'll tell you, 4th largest brewer in the United States.
Okay.
Well, that brings us to the end, to our episode here.
All right.
I like how everything blended. Like I want to applaud you for being an entrepreneur. You know what I mean?
Congratulations.
Especially in a field that doesn't have a lot of us. So thank you for being one of the other people to represent us in a field that we aren't as represented, and hopefully help encourage some other Black and brown people, to step out.
In closing, I just want to say, entrepreneurship and I just want to let, other brothers and sisters go, if you have something in your head, and you can 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 together, go for it. And have to be passionate about what you're doing. And, one of the questions, a lot of entrepreneurs, when I talk to other entrepreneurs, it's like, would you go homeless for your beliefs? Because you know that you're right. How far will you go? And that's the question. Yeah. I would. I got too much family to know that I wouldn't go homeless.
Right. No, me. That's me right there. Because I'm like, I don't have to, but that's where I'm at though, because I'm going hard. I think I needed to hear that because of it.
But that's the passion. People need to know their why. Like some people just do stuff because they want to make money. It's like, no, what's your why? What drives you? What connects you to this? Yeah.
I get on the soapbox or my soapbox, and I will tell you and tell the rest of the world that my farmers and distillers in Mexico make. And I love The Rock. I love P. Diddy and all these guys. But I'm going to tell you, my farmers and distillers make the best agave spirits on the planet.
There you
Period.
go.
You can taste it.
Period. Ooh, he
It's
said period.
Yeah, so I mean, and as an entrepreneur, that's what you got to, you got to have it. And I know that if I get liquids to lips and they taste my product, I got them.
Yes, you do, my friends. Well, we are at the end of our time here. Thank you so much.
Well, let me close us.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and I wanted to I'm looking at your website right now. So for anybody who's interested in what the heck we've been talking about, visit revelspirits.com. It's a really beautiful website. You can buy from online. You can see the story, like he was talking about the what did you say, the craftsmanship and how people like to know the story behind it. That's on the website. You can get merch, you can find out about press and see the YouTubes and everything like that. So definitely check out the website. It's a really lovely website. And we really appreciate your time, Mr. McFarlane, for coming on here with us. Yeah, you can also follow them on Instagram at Revel Spirits. And I'm guessing you're on Facebook and
all Twitter, everything.
Yeah. Everything. So
thank you so much.
Find the brand on there and listen, stream, like, and help to share out this podcast. We're getting our men. So yay, we were just complaining that we're not getting men to be on the podcast, but we are getting it. Thank y'all for coming. Mm-hmm. We still would like more. We are trying to dedicate the rest of the year to you tell your side of story, and not that we're going to stop at the end of the year, but
we're focusing on Black
wanted to make sure
right
with the span of mental health.